Hello JM Investors friends, welcome back JM Investors family. In today's video, we are diving deeper into this unique topic, the secret of building an intellectual property empire through authorpreneurship. How great authors create extraordinary wealth through book authorship. As I introduce the hidden trillion-dollar industry of intellectual property. Imagine owning something that cannot be touched, something that weighs almost nothing, something that can be worth trillions of dollars. Imagine creating one idea, writing into a book, and watching that single idea transform into movies, television series, online courses, university courses, software companies, global speaking tours, licensing deals, educational programs, merchandise, and businesses that continue generating income long after you are gone. Imagine repeating that process over and over again until every book you publish becomes another pillar in a vast intellectual property empire. That is not a fantasy. It is one of the greatest wealth building strategies ever discovered. Yet surprisingly, very few aspiring writers understand understand it. Most people think authors write books to earn royalties, but the world's greatest entrepreneurs know a deeper truth. Books are not the destination; they are the beginning. They are the seeds, and when those seeds are planted strategically, they grow into forests of opportunities. Welcome to one of the most important lessons you will ever learn about wealth creation. Welcome to the hidden world of intellectual property, the greatest shift in human wealth. For thousands of years, wealth came primarily wealth came primarily from owning physical assets such as land, gold, livestock, ships, factories, oil, real estate, machinery. Whoever controlled these resources often controlled nations. The richest people built fortunes by accumulating tangible property. Then the world changed. The Industrial Revolution rewarded manufacturing. The Information Age rewarded knowledge. Today we live in what many economists call the knowledge economy, where ideas, information, innovation, and creativity are among the valuable assets on this earth. Some of the world's largest companies derive much of their value from intellectual property rather than physical goods. Software, algorithms, brands, copyrights, patents, trademarks, and original content have become the engines of the modern world. This transformation has created extraordinary opportunities for writers. Every original manuscript has the potential to become more than a book. It can become a long-term asset capable of supporting businesses, partnerships, and new creative works. Why most authors never become wealthy? Here's the unfortunate reality. Millions of books are published every year. Many authors work tirelessly. They spend months or even years writing, researching, editing, and publishing. Yet many sell only a modest number of copies. Some become discouraged and stop writing altogether. Usually note. Sorry, what's the book the problem? Usually note. The problem is often the business model. Far fewer think like entrepreneurs. They focus on finishing a manuscript, but do not build a system around it. When the book is released, they wait and hope readers will discover it. Hope, however, is not a business strategy. The most successful entrepreneurs think differently. They ask, what else can this idea become? That single question changes everything. The difference between an author and an entrepreneur. Author creates a book. Entrepreneur creates an ecosystem. Author celebrates publication. Entrepreneur celebrates ownership. Author hopes for sales. An entrepreneur designs multiple streams of value from one intellectual property. Imagine two people writing the exact same book. The first author publishes it and wait for royalties. The second publishes it but also develops an audiobook, a workbook, an online course, a podcast, a newsletter, a membership community, a coaching program, a speaking platform, and a licensing opportunity. The content at the core is similar, yet the long-term outcomes can be dramatically different because the strategy is different. Books are more than products. Many people see a book as a final product. Successful entrepreneurs see a book as a raw material. Think of a book as a blueprint for an entire business. Every chapter can inspire articles, can inspire a video. Every lesson can become a course. Every framework can become a workshop. Workshop. Every story can become a podcast episode. Every illustration can become educational content. Every idea can become consulting service. Every concept can inspire future books. Every book can strengthen the rest of your catalog. Instead of asking how many copies can I sell, ask how many assets can I build from this knowledge. The shift in thinking is where the intellectual property empires begins. Ideas are the world's most valuable and scalable asset. A factory has production limits, farmers land limits, a mine eventually runs out of resources. An original idea can be shared with millions of people simultaneously. Digital publishing, online, online learning, global distribution mean that knowledge can travel further and faster than at any point in history. An idea written today in Nairobi can be read tomorrow in New York, London, Tokyo, Sao Paulo, Sydney, Cape Town, and so on and so forth. This global reach is one of the reasons that intellectual property has become such a powerful form of wealth creation. From inspiration to enterprise, every great intellectual property empire begins with curiosity. Some notices a problem, someone develops a solution, someone organizes knowledge, some communicate it clearly. That communication becomes a book. The book builds trust. Trust attracts readers. Readers become a community. A community creates opportunities. Opportunities become businesses. Businesses generate resources that allow the creator to develop even more valuable intellectual property. This creates a cycle of growth, starting from idea to books to audience, trust, opportunities, businesses, and lastly, new ideas. Each stage reinforces the next. Long-term mindset. One of the biggest mistakes creators make is expecting immediate results. Building an intellectual property is more like planting an orchard than buying a lottery ticket. The first years, innovation involve preparation, research, learning, writing, publishing, building relationships, improving quality, serving readers. Over time, the orchard grows. Each new book becomes another tree. Each tree produces fruits year after year. Eventually, the combined harvest becomes far greater than the output of any single tree. This is the power of consistency combined with strategic thinking. A new definition of success. Success in entrepreneurship is not measured only by the bestseller lists. It's measured by enduring value your ideas create. Ask yourself, are my books solving real problems? Are they inspiring meaningful action? Are they opening doors for new opportunities? Are they creating assets that can continue serving readers for years to come? When the answer is yes, you are building more than a writing career. You are building an intellectual property portfolio. Every empire begins with the foundation. For the entrepreneurs, the foundation is not a printing press. It is not a publishing contract. It is not even a best-selling book. It is a powerful idea developed with care, shared with integrity, expanded with vision. Expanded with vision. because the journey from author to empire builders always begins in the mind. The psychology of the psychology of wealthy entrepreneurs. The psychology of wealthy entrepreneurs. Every empire is built twice, first in the mind, then in reality. Before an empire has buildings, it has blueprints. Before a bestseller reaches millions, it begins as an idea. Before intellectual property generates wealth, it exists as a thought waiting to be developed. This is why the greatest difference between an ordinary author and an extraordinary entrepreneur is rarely talent. It is mindset. History has shown that countless brilliant writers never achieved financial success, while others, even with similar or even lesser writing ability, built thriving businesses around their ideas. Why? Because they understood that success is not only about writing well, it's about thinking strategically. Today, we explore the psychology that transforms writers into empire builders. Lesson 1. Think like an owner, not an employee. Many writers unknowingly approach authorship with an employee mindset. They ask, who will publish my book? Who will market it? Who will make me successful? These questions place responsibility in someone else's hands. The entrepreneur asks different questions. How can I build something I own? How can this book become an asset? How can I retain control of my intellectual property while creating value for readers? Ownership changes everything. Employees earn royalties. Owners build equity. An employee may stop earning when the work stops. An author can continue benefiting from assets that keep producing value over time. A book is one such asset. When managed wisely, it continues reaching readers and creating opportunities for long term. Lesson 2. See knowledge as capital. Most people think of capital as money, but knowledge is another form of capital. Every book you read, every skill you develop, every experience you gain, every problem you solve, these become intellectual capital. The remarkable thing about intellectual capital is that, unlike money, sharing it does not necessarily reduce what you possess. You can teach one person or 1 million people while still retaining your knowledge. When organized effectively, that knowledge becomes intellectual property. Intellectual property becomes an asset. Assets create opportunities. This is why lifelong learning is one of the greatest investments an author can make. Lesson 3. Solve problems, not chase. Lesson 3. Solve problems, don't chase trends. Many new authors ask, what is popular right now? Successful entrepreneurs ask, what problems do people consistently need? So that I can help them solve. Trends come and go. Real human needs endure. People have sought wisdom about health, relationships, money, creativity, purpose, and personal growth for generations. Books that genuinely help readers solve meaningful problems often remain valuable for long after short-lived trends have faded away. Ask yourself, what questions do people ask repeatedly? What knowledge have I gained through study or experience? What challenges can I help others overcome? Your answers may become the foundation of valuable intellectual property. Lesson 4. Build a long-term vision. The modern world often rewards instant gratification. Social media encourages immediate attention. Advertising promises overnight success. Yet, most enduring intellectual property empires are built patiently. Think of a cathedral. Its builders often worked for decades knowing they might never see its completion. They built anyway because they believed in long-term value of their work. Authorpreneurship requires similar thinking. Your first book may introduce readers to your ideas. Your 5th may establish your authority. Your 10th may expand your influence. Your 20th may become the cornerstone of a lasting legacy. Success compounds through consistency. Lesson 5. Think in systems, not isolated projects. Many writers see each book as a separate achievement. Empire builders see each book as part of a larger system. Imagine writing about entrepreneurship. Book 1 explains business fundamentals. Book 2 explores marketing. Book 3 discusses innovation. Book 3 discusses leadership. Book 4 focuses on innovation. Book 5 examines scaling companies. Individually, each book has value. Together, they become a comprehensive body of language. Together, they become a comprehensive body of knowledge. Readers who appreciate one book naturally discover the others. Each publication strengthens the entire catalog. They all becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Lesson 6. Value relationships more than transactions. A single book sale is valuable. A long-term reader relationship is even more valuable. Readers who trust your work may read future books, join your newsletter, attend workshops, recommend your work to friends, support future projects, participate in your community. The most successful entrepreneurs focus on serving readers consistently rather than pursuing one-time transactions. Trust is one of the most valuable forms of intellectual capital. Lesson 7. Embrace continuous improvement. Perfection is often the enemy of progress. Many aspiring authors spend years endlessly revising one manuscript. Meanwhile, experienced entrepreneurs publish, learn, and continue creating. Each project teaches valuable lessons. Writing improves, marketing improves, communication improves, understanding of readers deepens. Growth comes through deliberate practice and thoughtful reflection. Every book is both a product and a learning experience. Lesson 8. Build before you need it. Many writers begin building an audience only after publishing. Successful entrepreneurs often begin much earlier. They share insights, write articles, create videos, speak publicly, teach, engage with communities, ask questions. By consistently providing value, they cultivate trust before launching new projects. When a book is released, it has already interested audience. This approach reduces dependence on luck. Lesson 9. Protect your intellectual property. Ideas have value. Original work deserves protection. Responsible entrepreneurs learn about copyright, licensing, publishing agreements, contracts, branding, trademarks where appropriate. Understanding these concepts helps creators make informed decisions about how their work is shared and used. Protecting intellectual property is not merely about preventing misuse. It's about preserving the long-term value of creative work. Lesson 10. Build a legacy, not just income. Income is important. It supports creators and enables further work. But legacy asks a deeper question. What impact will my idea have years from now? Books have shaped civilizations. They have inspired scientific discoveries, encouraged social reform, advanced education, strengthened communities, preserved history, sparked innovation. Your work may influence people you never meet. That possibility should inspire excellence. Entrepreneurship is not simply about earning from ideas. It is about creating ideas worthy of being remembered. The compound effect of thoughtful creation. Imagine publishing one meaningful book each year for 20 years. Each book serves readers. Each book introduces new audiences. Each book reinforces your expertise. Each book creates opportunities for future work. Over time, your collection becomes more than a catalog. It becomes an intellectual ecosystem. One reader discovers one book, that reader explores the others. Some recommend your work, others apply your ideas, some become collaborators, some become lifelong supporters. Growth often begins slowly but can accelerate through consistency and quality. Every extraordinary intellectual property empire begins with an ordinary decision. The decision is to think differently, to value ideas, to serve readers, to learn continuously, to build patiently, to create with integrity, to see every book not as the end of a project, but as the beginning of a much larger journey. The greatest entrepreneurs understand a timeless truth. A book may change a reader's life. A library of valuable ideas can influence generations. And when those ideas are developed with vision, discipline, and purpose, they become the foundation of an intellectual property empire. The blueprint: building an intellectual property empire, step by step. Every skyscraper begins with a single brick. Every mighty oak begins with a tiny seed. Every global company begins with one idea. The same is true for an intellectual property empire. People often look at successful entrepreneurs and assume they were lucky. They see best-selling books, interviews, speaking engagements, loyal, loyal readers, and thriving businesses, but they rarely see the years of careful planning, disciplined work, and strategic thinking behind that success. Great entrepreneurs do not build empires overnight. They build one idea, one they build them one idea, one page, one chapter, one book, one read at a time. In this chapter, we will be walking through a practical blueprint that transforms a simple idea into a growing intellectual property portfolio capable of creating value, capable of creating value for decades. Step 1: discover an idea worth building. Every empire begins with an idea, but not every idea deserves years of your life. Before writing, ask yourself, will this idea still matter 5 years from now? Will people continue searching for answers to this problem? Can this idea grow into multiple products? Many authors make the mistake of chasing temporary trends. By the time the book is finished, the trend has disappeared. Instead, build around enduring themes. Examples include financial literacy and freedom, leadership, entrepreneurship, personal development, artificial intelligence, health and wellness, relationships, spiritual growth, education, creativity, history, science, technology, agriculture, business strategy. These fields continue evolving, providing opportunities for updated editions, complementary workflows. Ask another important question: can I become known for this subject? If the answer is yes, you may have found the foundation of your intellectual property empire. That is. Step 2: become a master learner. The greatest books are rarely written by people who stop learning. Knowledge is the raw material of intellectual property. Read extensively, study respected experts, analyze research, observe industry trends, listen carefully to your audience, learn from both successes and failures. Curiosity is the greatest competitive advantages an entrepreneur can possess. Every book you read expands the possibilities for the book you will write. Every conversation can spark a new idea. Every challenge you solve become tomorrow's best-selling chapter. Remember, The quality of your intellectual property depends on the quality of your thinking, and the quality of your thinking depends on the quality of your learning. Step 3. Develop a unique perspective. Information is abundant. Information is abundant. Originality. Original insight is rare. Readers are not simply looking for facts. They are looking for understanding. Many books explain what great books Many books explain what. Great books explain why. Exceptional books explain how. The most memorable books often combine all the three. Ask yourself, what perspective do I have that others overlook? How can I explain complex ideas simply? What experiences have I shaped my understanding? How can I help readers think differently? Your unique voice is part of your intellectual property. No one else has lived your experiences. No one else thinks exactly as you do. That originality is valuable. Step 4. Build an intellectual property framework. Rather than writing random chapters, design a framework. Frameworks make knowledge easier to remember. Imagine writing about businesses. Instead of presenting disconnected advice, organize your ideas into a memorable model. For example, the 7 pillars of wealth, the 5 levels of leadership, 10 laws of innovation, the 3 engines of growth. Frameworks become intellectual property because readers associate them with your work. They also adapt well into courses, presentations, and workshops. A strong framework increases the long-term value of your ideas. Step 5. Write with longevity in mind. Some books become outdated quickly. Others remain relevant for decades. Whenever possible, focus on timeless principles while acknowledging that examples and technologies may evolve. Ask, will someone still benefit from this chapter 10 years from now? If the answer is yes, you are creating enduring value. Long-lasting books often emphasize principles rather than short-lived tactics. Step 6. Publish professionally. Your manuscript represents your reputation. Invest time in quality. Careful editing, thoughtful formatting, professional cover design, clear typography, strong organization. Readers often form impressions within seconds. A professionally presented book communicates respect for your audience. Quality builds trust. Trust builds loyalty. Loyalty strengthens your intellectual property brand. Step 7. Create multiple formats. One manuscript should not remain in one format. Expand it. Expand it and create ebooks, paper editions, and expand it and create ebooks, paperback editions, hardcover editions, audiobooks, large print editions, interactive digital editions. Different readers have different preferences. Some enjoy listening during commutes, while others prefer printed books. Others study digitally. Offering multiple formats allows your ideas to reach more people. Step 8. Build your digital home. Build your digital sorry. Step 8. Build your digital home. So, social media platforms change. Algorithms change. Policies change. Your own digital assets provide greater stability. Consider building a professional website, an email newsletter, a blog, a resource library, a reader community. These platforms allow you to communicate directly with your audience and share updates about new projects. Your relationship with readers should not depend entirely on third-party platforms. Step 9. Expand beyond the book. This is where many writers stop. Authorpreneurs continue. Every chapter contains opportunities to transform your material into online courses, education videos, workshops, podcasts, consulting services, coaching programs, study guides, corporate training, university lectures, public speaking presentations, membership communities. The goal is not merely to increase income, It is to increase the usefulness and accessibility of your ideas. Different people learn in different ways. Meeting those needs strengthens both your impact and your intellectual property. Step 10. Build a portfolio instead of a single product. Imagine owning one rental property. Now imagine owning 50. The same principle applies to the intellectual property. Each book becomes another asset. Each asset increases your resilience. If one book slows in sale, the others continue serving readers. Over time, your catalog becomes increasingly valuable. Every new release introduces readers to your early work. This creates a cycle of discovery that can continue for years. Step 11. Think globally. The internet has transformed publishing. A book written in one country can reach readers across continents. Consider opportunities for translation to additional languages, international distribution, global partnerships, cross-cultural adaptations. Knowledge has fewer borders. Ideas that solve meaningful problems can resonate far beyond the place where they were written. Step 12. Review, improve, and expand. Your first edition does not have to be your last. As you learn more, update examples, improve explanations, correct errors, add new research, publish revised editions when appropriate. Readers appreciate authors who continue refining their work. Continuous improvement extends the life of your intellectual property. Build an ecosystem instead of a book. Imagine your book as at the center of a wheel. Around it as connected assets. The book leads readers to your website, your newsletter, your videos, your podcasts, your courses, your workshops, your speaking engagements, your community. Each element supports the others. Instead of isolated products, you create an ecosystem where every resource reinforces the rest. This interconnected approach increases both value and resilience. The power of compounding creativity. Financial experts often speak around compound interest. Authorpreneurs experience something similar through compound creativity. Book 1 teaches you how to write. Book 2 improves your communication. Book 3 expands your audience. Book 4 strengthens your reputation. Book 5 attracts partnerships. Book 6 opens international opportunities. Each project builds upon the lessons of the previous ones. The growth may seem gradual at first, but consistency has a remarkable power over time. An intellectual property empire is not built through one extraordinary moment. It is built through thousands of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. The decision to keep learning, to keep writing, to serve readers, to improve, to think beyond the book. Every page you write can become a building block. Every idea you refine can become an asset. Every reader you help can become part of a growing community. The question is no longer whether you can write a book. The real question is, can you build a system that allows one idea to create value again and again for years or even generations to come? The multiplication principle. How great authors turn one book into hundreds of intellectual property assets. What is more valuable, one apple or an apple tree? Most people would choose the tree. Why? Because the tree produces apples over and over again. It creates abundance instead of a single harvest. Now consider your book. Most writers treat their books like an apple. They write, publish it, sell it, then move on. But great entrepreneurs think differently. They see every book as an orchard. One manuscript is capable of producing hundreds of valuable intellectual property assets if developed strategically. This is called multiplication principle. It is one of the greatest assets behind enduring creative businesses. Today, we will explore how a single idea can grow into an ecosystem of knowledge, produces, products, services, and opportunities that continue serving readers for years. The difference between linear thinking and exponential thinking. Most authors think in straight lines. They believe in they believe the journey looks like idea, book, sales, royalties, the end. Entrepreneurs think in expanding circles. Their journey looks more like this: idea, research, book, audiobook, course, podcast, speaking, engagements, consulting, services, membership, communities, licensing, translation, partnerships, reverse editions, new books, new audiences, great influence. Instead of asking, what can this book earn? They ask, what can this book become? That simple question changes the trajectory of an entire writing career. Your book is not the product, it is the platform. One of the most powerful mental shifts in entrepreneurship is realizing that your book is not merely something to sell, it is a platform. Think about a strong foundation beneath a building. The foundation is rarely the most visible part, yet everything above it depends on it. Your book serves the same purpose. It establishes credibility. It organizes your ideas. It demonstrates expertise. It builds trust with readers. Trust then becomes the foundation for future opportunities. Without trust, expansion becomes difficult. With trust, possibilities multiply. The intellectual property tree. Imagine your book as the trunk of a great tree. The roots represent your knowledge, research, and life experience. The trunk represents the published manuscript. From the trunk emerges countless branches. Each branch represents another intellectual property asset. One branch becomes an audiobook, another becomes a workshop, another becomes a video series, another becomes a university lecture, another becomes an online course, another becomes a certification program, another becomes consulting services, another becomes downloadable resources, another becomes a community for learners. The stronger the trunk, the more the branches it can support. The healthier the roots, the stronger the entire tree becomes. One asset, companion books. Never assume one book completes the conversation. Readers often want to continue learning. Ask yourself what questions remain unanswered. What topics deserve deeper explanation? What topics deserve deeper exploration? One foundational book can naturally lead to beginner's guides, advanced editions, practical workshops, case study collections, annual updates, frequently asked questions, specialized niche books, companion journals, reflection guides. Instead of one title, you gradually develop a comprehensive library. Every new book strengthens the others. As I talk, educational courses. Many readers enjoy learning through structured lessons. Each chapter of your book can become a complete lesson. Add a visual demonstration, exercise, worksheets, and assignments, knowledge checks, real-world applications, interactive discussions. The result is an educational experience that complements the book rather than replacing it. Books introduce ideas. Courses deepen understanding through guided learning. As it through speaking opportunities, books create authority. Authority often open doors. Organizations frequently ask and seek knowledge of speakers who can educate, inspire, or train audiences. A single chapter may become a keynote presentation, conference session, a university lecture, a leadership workshop, a business seminar, a webinar, a community event. Speaking allows ideas to reach audiences in a personal and engaging way, while encouraging meaningful dialogue. Set 4. Podcasts and video series. Many people prefer listening to podcasts and videos while commuting, exercising, and working. Others enjoy watching visual explanations. Your book already contains valuable materials. Each chapter can inspire. Podcast episodes, video lessons, panel discussions, expert interviews, question and answer sessions, short educational clips, behind the scenes, writing stories, reader discussions. Every format reaches a different audience. Every audience strengthens your intellectual property ecosystem. Certified digital resources. Readers appreciate practical tools. Consider creating checklists, templates, worksheets, planning guides, reference sheets, printable exercises, study summaries, reading plans, discussion questions. These resources increase the usefulness of your ideas. They also encourage readers to continue engaging with your work. As at 6, communities. Books inform, communities transform. People enjoy learning alongside others. A community allows readers to ask questions, share experiences, celebrate progress, support one another, discuss new ideas, provide feedback. As the communities grow, readers become contributors rather than passive consumers. This strengthens long-term relationships. Set 7. Consulting and advisory services. Many books solve professional problems. Organizations often seek practical guidance. Your published work demonstrates expertise and can lead to opportunities such as business consulting, strategic planning, educational advising, leadership development, research collaboration, training design. The book introduces your ideas. Consulting helps organizations apply them responsibly. As 8, licensing. One of the most powerful, yet even overlooked strategy is licensing. Rather than using your ideas only yourself, you may allow others to use specific aspects and agreed terms. For example, education institutions may adopt your learning materials. Training organizations may use frameworks. Publishers may distribute translated editions. Media organizations may adapt content. Licensing allows your ideas to travel further while helping preserve recognition for your work. International expansion. Knowledge has remarkable potential to cross borders. Readers around the world share many common challenges: building businesses, improving leadership, learning technology, managing finances, developing careers, strengthening relationships. When appropriate, adapting your work for additional languages and cultural contexts and cultural contexts allows the people to benefit from your ideas. Think globally. Thinking think Global thinking significantly expands the potential reach of intellectual property. Set 10. Future innovation. Never assume today's format is the final destination. Technology evolves. New educational methods emerge. Interactive learning platforms improve. Artificial intelligence continues changing how people discover and engage with information. Thoughtful entrepreneurs remain adaptable. They revisit their ideas, they improve them, update them, present them in ways that remain useful to the future audiences. And intellectual property empire is never truly finished. It continues evolving alongside the needs of readers. The multiplication of formula. Imagine publishing one excellent book. Now imagine creating from that book a paperback edition, a hardcover edition, an ebook, an audiobook, a workbook, a journal, a video course, a podcast series, a webinar, a keynote presentation, a workshop, a membership community, downloadable resources, a companion website, a newsletter, a revised edition, a translated edition, a children's adaptation where appropriate, a professional edition, a university edition. Notice something remarkable. The original manuscript remains at the center. You are not constantly inventing entirely new ideas. You are thoughtfully expanding one valuable body of knowledge into formats that serve different audiences. That's the power of multiplication. The snowball effect. Think about a snowball rolling down a mountain. At first, its growth seems almost invisible. But with every rotation, it gathers more snow. It becomes larger, heavier, stronger. Eventually, it becomes something impossible to ignore. Intellectual property often grows the same way. The first readers discover your work. Some recommend it, others invite you to speak about it. New opportunities appear. Your catalog expands. Your reputation grows. Each asset strengthens the next. Progress may begin quietly. Consistency allows it to accelerate. Every empire begins with one foundation. For Authorpreneur, the foundation is a carefully developed idea. But these ideas alone do not build legacies. Ideas must be multiplied, expanded, shared, refined, applied. Every chapter you write contains possibilities beyond the printed page. Every framework may become a course. Every lesson may become a workshop. Every story may inspire a new generation. The greatest entrepreneurs never ask, how can I write more books? Instead, they ask, how can one book create the greatest possible value for the greatest number of people? That question transforms authors into architects of intellectual property empires. The wealth engine, how to create multiple incomes. The wealth engine, how to create multiple income streams from a single book. Imagine trying to fill a lake with only one small stream. It will take an incredibly long time. Now imagine filling that same lake with 50 rivers. The lake fills faster. The lake fills faster. It becomes stronger, more resilient. This simply explains one of the greatest differences between ordinary authors and extraordinary entrepreneurs. Most authors depend on one source of income, book sales. When book sales slow, the income slows. When the market changes, their business suffers. But entrepreneurs build income streams of value around. But entrepreneurs build multiple streams of value around one intellectual property. Their books become the center of an ecosystem rather than the end product. One asset, many opportunities. One message, many formats. One audience, many ways to serve. This is the wealth engine of intellectual property. The dangerous myth of royalty dependence. One of the greatest. The dangerous myth of royalty dependence. One of the greatest and biggest misconceptions in publishing is that wealthy authors become wealthy primarily through book royalties. Royalties can be meaningful, especially for books with broader readership, but relying on them alone can make income unpredictable. Great entrepreneurs recognize a different principle. The book opens the door. Opportunities that follow often become just as important as the book itself. Your book introduces readers to your thinking, and it builds trust. That trust can support many additional ways of delivering value. Income stream one, book sales. Everything begins here. Your book is your flagship product. Publish it professionally. Invest in excellent editing. Create a compelling cover. Write a persuasive description. Ensure your content delivers genuine value. Readers who benefit from your work are far more likely to recommend it to others. Every satisfied reader becomes a potential ambassador of your ideas. Stream 2, audiobooks. Many people are no longer consume. Many people no longer consume information primarily through reading. They learn while driving, walking, traveling, exercising, working. Audiobooks always allow your ideas to fit naturally into busy lives. For many readers, listening is more convenient than reading. Providing an audiobook helps you reach an entirely different audience without creating an entirely new idea. Stream 3, premium print editions. Not every reader wants the same experience. Some appreciate collectible editions. Others prefer durable hardcover copies. Educational institutions may value editions with additional references or study materials. Special editions can provide readers with options while reinforcing the long-term value of your work. Stream 4, companion workbooks. Knowledge grows through application. A workbook transforms reading into action. It encourages readers to reflect, practice, plan, measure progress, apply principles. For books focused on education, leadership, business, or personal development, companion workbooks are significantly can significantly deepen the learning experience. Stream 5, online courses. Books explain, courses demonstrate. Readers often appreciate structured guidance. Imagine transforming each chapter into a lesson, a presentation, an assignment, a practical exercise, a discussion, an assessment. Some learners retain information more effectively when they watch demonstrations and engage interactively. Hey, enda nje. Courses provide another pathway for readers to benefit from your expertise. In Stream 6, membership communities. Books create readers, communities create relationships. Imagine bringing together people interested in your subject, entrepreneurs learning together, writers supporting one another, students discussing ideas, professionals solving common challenges. A thriving community encourages ongoing learning while strengthening your intellectual property ecosystem. Stream 7, public speaking. Books establish credibility. Credibility often leads to invitations. Credibility often leads to invitations. Organizations seek speakers who can educate and inspire. Topics from your book can become conference presentations, corporate seminars, university lectures, leadership workshops, community events. Public speaking extends the reach of your ideas while allowing direct engagement with audiences. Income stream 8, consulting. Many books address practical challenges. Business schools, non-profits, other organizations sometimes seek guidance in applying those ideas. Consulting allows you to help others implement concepts responsibly and effectively rather than simply teaching principles. You assist in adapting them to the real-world situations. Stream 9, educational licensing. Schools, universities, training organizations, professional associations, educational publishers. These institutions often seek high-quality learning resources. Well-developed intellectual property may be adapted for educational settings through appropriate agreements. This enables your ideas to support learners in structured environments while expanding your reach. Stream 10, corporate training. Organizations invest in developing their employees. Books covering leadership, communication, innovation, technology, productivity, or business strategies can serve as the foundation for customized training programs. The original manuscript becomes the starting point for practical organizational learning. Stream 11, digital resources. Many readers appreciate tools that simplify implementation. Examples include planner templates, reference guides, worksheets, checklists, assessment tools, action planners, goal trackers. These resources increase the practical usefulness of your intellectual property. Income stream 12, newsletters. One of the greatest business assets is direct communication with readers. An email newsletter. An email an email newsletter allows you to share updates, provide additional insights, recommend resources, announce new books, ask ask answer reader questions, continue educating your audience between major publications. Unlike changing social media algorithms, a newsletter provides a more valuable connection with interested readers. Stream 13, podcast. Every chapter of your book contains conversations awaiting to happen. Expand ideas through interviews, case studies, reader questions, current events, expert discussions, behind the scenes story writings, podcasts, deepen relationships while introducing new audiences to your intellectual property. Stream 14, video education. Video allows people to see ideas in action, demonstrations, presentations, animations, whiteboard explanations, documentaries, question and answer sessions, educational series. Some learners connect more deeply with visual storytelling than through text alone. Offering multiple learning formats makes your work more accessible. Stream 15, international editions. One language reaches one audience. Additional languages may reach many more. Thoughtful translations and localization can help your ideas benefit readers in different parts of the world. Global expansion increases impact while diversifying opportunities. Stream 16, strategic partnerships. As your reputation grows, opportunities for collaboration may emerge. Educational institutions, research organizations, technology companies, media organizations, professional associations, partnerships should always align with your mission and maintain the integrity of your work. Strong partnerships may often expand both reach and influence. Stream 17. Future books. Perhaps one of the greatest income stream generated by your first book is your second book. Readers who trust your first publication are more likely to explore your future work. Each new title introduces fresh audiences with oh, sorry. Each new title introduces fresh audiences while strengthening your existing catalog. Your books begin promoting one another. This creates a compounding a com- this creates a compound this creates a compounding effect over time. The ecosystem principle. Imagine a whale. At the center sits your book. Surrounding it are connected assets, courses, audiobooks, podcasts, videos, workshops, and workbooks, communities, consulting, speaking, engagements, newsletters, educational resources, corporate training. Every component reinforces. Every, every component reinforces every other component. A podcast introduces new readers. Readers join your subscribers. Newsletter subscribers discover your next book. The next book inspires another course. The course leads to speaking opportunities. Speaking opportunities introduce more readers. The cycle continues. This interconnected system is far more resilient than depending on a single source of income. The mathematics of compounding, the mathematics of compounding intellectual property. Imagine writing one high quality book every year. After 10 years, you don't simply own 10 books. You may have 10 audiobooks, 10 workbooks, multiple education resources, a growing newsletter, several courses, a library of videos, a podcast archive, a community of readers, professional relationships, speaking experience, updated editions, translational opportunities. The world lies not merely in the number of books, but in the network they create together. Each new publication increases the visibility and usefulness of others. This is the compounding power of intellectual property, the responsibility that comes with influence. As your intellectual property grows, so does your responsibility. Influence should be exercised with integrity. Prioritize accuracy, respect intellectual property rights, credit sources appropriately, continue learning, serve readers honestly. Sustainable success depends not only on business strategy but also on trust. Trust once earned becomes one of the greatest assets. The world's greatest entrepreneurs understand something that many creators overlook. A book is not merely something you sell; it is something you build upon. Every page you write contains seeds. Those seeds can grow into courses, communities, conversations, education programs, professional opportunities, new books, and lasting influence. The goal is to create as many income streams as possible. The goal is to create as many meaningful ways as possible. Your ideas to improve people's lives. When value comes first, opportunities often follow. the service leads, sustainable success becomes more likely. When service leads, sustainable success becomes more likely. Your book is more than ink on paper. It is an intellectual capital. It is a foundation. It's the beginning of an expanding ecosystem of knowledge. Global expansion, licensing, international publishing, digital dominion, and building a worldwide intellectual property empire. There was a time when a writer influence really extended beyond the borders of a single city. Then the books crossed kingdoms, printing presses crossed continents. The internet erased geographical barriers. Today, a manuscript written in Nairobi can be purchased within seconds in New York, read on tablet in London, listened to as an audiobook in Sydney, discussed in classroom in India, quoted in business meetings in Singapore, and translated for readers in South America. Never before in human history has one individual possessed the ability to share ideas with a truly global audience so quick like this. This is not merely technological progress. This is one of the greatest opportunities ever created for authors. Welcome to the age of global intellectual property. The world is your marketplace. Most writers think locally. Great entrepreneurs think globally. Instead of asking, who in my city might read this book, they ask, who around the world needs this knowledge? That single question expands every possibility. The digital economy has dramatically lowered the barriers to reach readers across countries and cultures. A valuable idea is no longer limited to geography. When your work addresses universal human needs, learning, leadership, innovation, health, finance, technology, creativity, or personal growth, it has the potential to resonate with people far beyond your home country. The new geography of knowledge. In the past, the physical books required warehouses, shipping networks, distributors, retail stores. Today, digital publishing allows readers to discover new ideas almost instantly. An ebook can reach a new reader in seconds. An audiobook can be streamed across continents. A video course can teach thousands of learners simultaneously. Knowledge now travels at the speed of light. This transformation has fundamentally changed what it means to build. What it means to build an intellectual property empire. Licensing. Let your ideas work beyond you. Imagine owning a beautiful piece of farmland. You could cultivate every acre yourself, or you could allow trusted partners to cultivate portions of it under agreed conditions while you retain ownership. This illustrates licensing. Licensing allows others to use certain aspects of your intellectual property under specific agreements. Rather than giving away ownership, you grant permission for defined uses. Examples may include educational institutions using teaching materials, publishers producing editions in, in additional languages, training organizations incorporating your frameworks, media companies adapting your content, professional associations using educational resources. Licensing expands reach while allowing you to maintain recognition for your work, for your original work. It enables your ideas to travel further than your personal time will ever allow. The extraordinary power of translation. Language translation should become sorry, language should not become a barrier to available knowledge. If your work addresses meaningful problems, people across cultures may become beneficiaries of it. Translation opens entirely new audiences. Imagine writing one excellent book. Now imagine that same book becoming available in Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Chinese, Arabic, Swahili, Japanese, Hindi, Korean, Italian, and so on and so forth. One manuscript, many audiences. Translation is more than replacing words. Thoughtful localization adapts examples, expressions, and contexts so readers from different cultures can engage more naturally with the material. Well, when well done, translation greatly expands the potential impact of intellectual property. Digital publishing has changed everything. One of the greatest revolutions in publishing has been the rise of digital distribution. Today, independent authors can reach readers directly through global online marketplaces and digital platforms. This has reduced many traditional barriers to publication. Digital publishing offers several advantages: rapid worldwide distribution, lower production costs, simplified uh, simplified updates, multiple reader multiple reading devices, greater accessibility, environmentally efficient delivery. For many entrepreneurs, digital publishing becomes the foundation upon which broader intellectual property, broader intellectual property strategies are built. The rise of the global personal brand. The rise of the global personal brand. Books establish expertise, consistency builds reputation. Reputation Reputation creates recognition. Recognition becomes a personal brand. A strong personal brand is not built through self-promotion alone. It grows through consistently delivering value. Readers begin associating your name with a specific area of knowledge. Over time, that reputation becomes one of the greatest assets you can never have. People may discover your work through books, articles, videos, podcasts, courses, speaking engagements, interviews, educational collaborations. Every valuable interaction strengthens your intellectual property ecosystem, building strategic partnerships. No great empire grows entirely alone. Throughout history, successful creators have collaborated with others who shared complementary strengths and insights. Strategic partnerships may include publishers, educational institutions, technology companies, professional associations, research organizations, media producers, content creators, industry experts. The purpose of partnerships is not merely the purpose of partnerships. The, purpose- the purpose of partnership is not merely expansion. It is creating greater value, greater together. It is creating greater value together than either party could achieve independently. Healthy partnerships are built upon mutual respect, shared goals, and clear agreements. Artificial intelligence and the future of intellectual property. Artificial intelligence is changing how people discover, organize, and interact with information. For entrepreneurs, this presents both opportunities and responsibilities. AI can assist with research organization, content planning, language support, idea generation, editing assistance, translation workflows, educational personalization. However, human creativity remains essential. Original thinking, ethical judgment, personal experience, emotional storytelling, creative synthesis. These qualities remain at the heart of meaningful intellectual property. The future belongs not to those who really, the future belongs to those, the future belongs not to those who rely entirely on technology, but to those who combine technology, tools with deep human insight, building evergreen intellectual property. Some content becomes outdated quickly. Evergreen intellectual property focuses on enduring principles. For example, critical thinking, leadership, communication, ethics, financial literacy and freedom, learning strategies, creativity, problem solving, purpose. These subjects evolve gradually and remain relevant across generations. Timeless ideas often become the strongest foundation for long-term intellectual property empires. The global reader imagines someone reading your work whom you will never meet, a university student searching for guidance, a business owner facing uncertainty, a teacher preparing tomorrow's lesson, a parent seeking wisdom, a researcher exploring new ideas, a young entrepreneur beginning at a first company. Your words may influence decisions made thousands of kilometers away. This is one of the greatest privileges and responsibilities of authorship. Never underestimate the unseen impact of thoughtful writing. Build an, building an international building an international intellectual property portfolio. Think beyond individual books. Imagine gradually developing a growing catalog of publications, multiple language editions, educational courses, video libraries, podcast archives, professional workshops, certification programs, teaching materials, research publications, community platforms, digital resources, annual conferences, special editions, updated releases, international collaborations. Instead of isolated products, you are assembling a diversified portfolio of intellectual property assets. Like a carefully cultivated garden, diversity strengthens resilience. The network effect of global knowledge. Every new reader creates possibility. Some recommend your work, some translate ideas into action, some introduce your work to organizations, some invite collaborations, some become future partners. Knowledge spreads through networks. One meaningful connection often leads to one another. Growth rarely occurs in straight lines. It often accelerates through relationships, protecting reputation while expanding rapid growth. Sorry, protecting reputation while expanding. Rapid growth should never compromise quality. As your audience expands, maintain accuracy, update information responsibly, respect cultural differences, listen to reader feedback, improve future editions, protect your credibility. Your future reputation is one of the most valuable forms of intellectual property. Guard it carefully. The legacy of global ideas. History remembers many individuals, not because of the buildings they constructed, but because of the ideas, because of the ideas they shared. Ideas have ideas have crossed centuries, inspired discoveries, improved education, encouraged innovation, advanced civilization. Books preserve thought beyond a single lifetime. An intellectual property empire is ultimately not measured by financial success. It is measured by the lives improved through knowledge. Every great journey begins with one step. Every library begins with one book. Every movement begins with one idea. And every intellectual property empire begins with one creator who chooses to believe that knowledge can change lives. The digital age has opened doors that previous generations could scarcely imagine. Your ideas are no longer limited by geography. Your voice is no longer limited by local audiences. Your intellectual property can travel further than you ever may travel yourself. Write with excellence. Think globally. Build patiently. Protect your integrity. Continue learning. Continue serving. Continue creating. Because somewhere in the world, someone is waiting for the knowledge that only you can organize and communicate. And that single reader may become the beginning of an influence that reaches across nations and generations. Part 7, and the last. Legacy beyond a lifetime. Building an intellectual property empire that outlives you. Every human being asks at some point in life one profound question: what will remain after I'm gone? Will people remember our positions? Perhaps for a while. Will they remember our salaries? Our salaries? Probably not. Will they remember the cars we drove, the houses we owned, the clothes we wore? History suggests that most material possessions eventually fade into obscurity. But ideas are different, have crossed oceans, have survived wars, have outlived kingdoms, have transformed civilizations, have inspired inventions, have built businesses, have educated generations, have changed the course of human history. This that is the extraordinary power of intellectual power. Sorry, that is the extraordinary power of intellectual property. The greatest entrepreneurs understand that they are not merely writing books, they are preserving knowledge, they are documenting wisdom, they are building bridges between generations, they are creating assets that continue serving humanity long after their own voices have fallen silent. Welcome to this chapter where wealth meets purpose, where business meets legacy, where authors become architects of history. The difference between income and legacy. There is an, there is an important distinction every entrepreneur must understand. Income answers one question: how much value am I creating? Legacy answers another: how much value will my work continue creating tomorrow? Many people spend their lives chasing income. Few intentionally build legacy. The remarkable thing about books is that they have potential to accomplish both. A carefully researched and thoughtfully written book may educate readers for decades. Updated editions can continue improving their sorry. Updated editions can continue improving its usefulness. Future generations may discover insights that remain relevant despite changing technologies. When you write with integrity, clarity, and genuine desire to serve, your work has the potential to outlast temporary trends. Your books are your intellectual children. Imagine planting a forest. You may never sit beneath every tree. You may never meet everyone who enjoys its shade. Yet you plant it away anyway. Books are similar. Each manuscript is an investment in the future. Each chapter carries part of your knowledge. Each lesson reflects your experience. Each idea becomes available to readers you may never meet. Viewed this way, books become more than products. They become contributions, gifts, part of enduring conversation in the world, building a legacy, building a living library. Many writers, many writers dream of publishing one successful book. Great, great entrepreneurs dream of building a living library that continues growing. It evolves, expands, and adapts. Imagine a collection that includes foundational books, advanced books, reference books, case studies, workbooks, educational manuals, leadership resources, business strategy books, technology guides, historical analysis, research publications, children's educational editions, young adult adaptations, digital learning resources. Every edition strengthens the whole. Readers who discover one title naturally and explore others. Over time, your library becomes a trusted source of knowledge rather than a collection of isolated publications, creating a legacy brand. The strongest brands are built upon trust. When readers consistently benefit from your work, something remarkable happens. Your name begins representing more than an individual. It represents reliability, thoughtful insight, quality, integrity, service. This is the foundation of a legacy brand. Such a reputation cannot be purchased. It must be earned through years of consistent contribution, teaching others to continue the mission. One of the greatest signs of lasting influence is multiplication. Knowledge should not end with its creators. Entrepreneurs build enduring legacies, often invest in developing future leaders. They teach mentors, collaborate. They teach them. They teach, mentor, collaborate, encourage research, support emerging writers, share lessons learned. Every person should develop, become. Every person you develop becomes another carrier of valuable knowledge. In this way, your intellectual property continues evolving through future generations. The responsibility of influence. Influence is powerful. With influence comes responsibility. Every entrepreneur should strive to communicate honestly, res- respect evidence, acknowledge uncertainty when appropriate, credit the work of others, encourage critical thinking, promote constructive dialogue, correct mistakes when they are discovered. Legacy is strengthened not by perfection but by integrity. Readers place trust in authors. That trust should always be treated with respect. Build systems that endure. Successful businesses often continue beyond their founders because they develop systems rather than depending entirely on one individual. Entrepreneurs can apply the same principle. Organize your work effectively and carefully. Ma- Maintain clear records. Preserve research notes. Document publishing process. Develop consistent branding. Create structured educational resources. Build teams when appropriate. The goal is to ensure that your intellectual property remains organized, accessible, valuable over time. The economics of generational intellectual property. Imagine publishing one meaningful book every year for 25 years. Each book teaches readers. Each book creates opportunities. Each book supports future projects. Over decades, you develop a respected catalog, a global readership, a global readership, educational resources, professional relationships, digital assets, courses, communities, research archives, speaking experience, partnerships. Your audience compounds not because of one extraordinary moment, but because of thousands of faithful decisions made consistently. This, this is one of the most remarkable characteristics of intellectual property. Its value often accumulates gradually, the infinite return on the service. Many people ask, how can I make more money from my books? A powerful question is, how can I create more value for my readers? Value creates, value creates trust. Trust builds relationships. Relationships create opportunities. Opportunities sustain businesses. Businesses provide resources. Resources allow you to create even greater value. This cycle is far more durable than pursuing short-term financial gain alone. Service remains one of the strongest long-term business strategies. Your ideas become part of human progress. Throughout history, written knowledge has enabled humanity to advance. Books have preserved Books have preserved discoveries, documented cultures, inspired scientific inspired scientific research, improved education, strengthened leadership, encouraged innovation, expanded understanding. Every thoughtful contribution adds another stone to the foundation upon which future generations build. You may never know the full impact of your work. A reader may launch a business because of one chapter. A student may choose a career because of one paragraph. A teacher may inspire thousands of learners using one concept. Knowledge creates ripple effects that often extend far beyond what the author can observe. The final philosophy of entrepreneurship. What then? The true purpose of building an intellectual property empire. Is it wealth? Partly. Financial success enables creators to continue researching, writing, and serving others. Is it recognition? Sometimes recognition can amplify valuable assets, but recognition alone temporary. Is temporary. The deepest purpose is contribution to organize knowledge, solve problems, educate, inspire, preserve wisdom, help others think more clearly, to leave humanity slightly better informed than it was before. When wealth becomes the result of creating genuine value rather than the sole objective, intellectual property becomes both economically meaningful and socially valuable. The roadmap begins today. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need worldwide recognition. You begin with one question, one idea, one notebook, one outline, one chapter, one page, one paragraph, one sentence. Every remarkable library began with one book. Every respected author once wrote a first page. Every intellectual property empire began with a single act of creation, the final call to greatness. Imagine the, the world the world 50 Imagine the world 50 years from now. Technology will change, industries will evolve, new challenges will emerge. Yet one truth is likely to remain: humanity will continue searching for wisdom, for understanding, for solutions, for hope, for knowledge. The question is, will your ideas be part of that future? Will your books still be helping readers? Will your research still be inspiring innovators? Will your frameworks still be guiding leaders? What will your intellectual property continue creating opportunities? Sorry, will your intellectual property continue creating opportunities for generations you will never meet? The answer depends on the choices you make today. Choose excellence over convenience. Choose originality over imitation. Choose service over selfishness. Choose consistency over occasional inspiration. Choose long-term vision over short-term recognition. Write books that solve real problems. Build systems instead of isolated products. Protect intellectual property. Continue learning throughout your life. Never stop improving your craft. And above all, remember this timeless truth: a writer creates pages, an author creates books, an entrepreneur creates assets, but a visionary entrepreneur creates an intellectual property empire that continues serving humanity long after the final chapter has been written. Your greatest wealth is not merely the money your books may earn. It is the knowledge you preserve, the people you help, the ideas you spread, the opportunities you create, and and the legacy you have left behind. So pick up your pen, open your laptop, begin your research, write your first sentence or your next one. Because somewhere else in the world, someone is waiting for the book that only you can write, and that book may become the first cornerstone of an intellectual property empire that transforms lives, creates lasting value, and echoes through generations. The last part, the empire, builder's blueprint, life, a lifetime action plan for creating intellectual property dynasty. Every civilization has been built upon three foundations: knowledge, innovation, legacy. Empires have risen because people discovered better ways to think. Great universities were founded because people believed knowledge should outlive generations. Successful companies exist because someone transformed an idea into an asset. The same principle applies to every author. Every page you write has the potential to become more than a book. It can become a business, a movement, an educational institution, a technology platform, a global brand, a legacy. Yet none of these happen by accident. Every intellectual property empire is built deliberately brick by brick, book by book, idea by idea. In this final chapter, we move beyond theory and into execution. This is your blueprint, not for writing one successful book, but for building an intellectual property dynasty that can continue creating value for decades. Stage 1. Build yourself before you build your empire. The first investment is never your publishing platform. It is never your marketing budget. It is never your website. The first investment is you, your knowledge, your character, your discipline, your curiosity, your ability to think independently. The quality of your empire will never exceed the quality of its founder. Become a lifelong student. Read broadly. Study history. Study business. Study psychology. Study economics. Study technology. Study communication. Study philosophy. Study leadership. The more disciplines you understand, the more original your ideas become. Knowledge compounds. One book informs another. One subject strengthens another. Eventually, you think. Eventually, your thinking becomes multidisciplinary. That is what remarkable intellectual property often emerges. That is where remarkable intellectual property often emerges. Stage 2. Create an intellectual property vision. Don't simply ask, what a book should I write? Ask, what legacy do I want to build over the next 30 or 50 years? Close your eyes and imagine your life's work. What subjects define your mission? How many books will your library contain? What industries will your ideas influence? What communities will you serve? Great empires are rarely reactions. They are intentional visions pursued consistently. Write your vision, review it regularly. Allow every project to strengthen it. Stage 3. Build your intellectual property portfolio. Investors diversify. Authorpreneurs should think similarly. Your portfolio may include foundational books, advanced books, research papers, white papers, audiobooks, courses, podcasts, educational videos, teaching manuals, workbooks, case studies, templates, newsletters, memberships, professional workshops, certification programs, digital learning resources, annual reports, industry analysis, conference presentations. The objective is not to create random products. It is to interconnected develop interconnected assets that reinforce one another. Stage 4. Create an annual production system. Many aspiring authors rely solely on inspiration. Professional entrepreneurs build systems. Imagine creating an annual rhythm. Research continuously, capture ideas daily, write consistently, edit carefully, publish strategically, review results, improve continuously. Small daily progress often produces extraordinary long-term outcomes. One page each day becomes hundreds of pages each year. One book each year becomes an impressive library over time. Consistency outperforms occasional bursts of activity. Stage 5. Build an audience before you need it. You need one. One of the greatest mistakes creators make is waiting until publication day to introduce themselves to the world. Instead, share knowledge regularly, write thoughtful articles, record educational videos, participate in meaningful conversations, answer questions, teach, serve, provide value long before asking anyone to purchase a book. Trust grows gradually. Readers support authors they know, respect and believe genuinely. Readers support authors they know, respect and believe genuinely, care about helping them. Stage 6. Develop a global brand. A brand is not merely a logo, it is a promise. When readers encounter your work, they should what should they expect? Clarity, research, innovation, integrity, practical wisdom, hope. Consistency builds recognition. Recognition builds trust. Trust builds influence. Influence creates opportunities. Protect your reputation carefully. Your name becomes one of your most valuable intellectual property assets. Stage 7. Build an intellectual property team. No significant empire is built entirely alone. As your work, as your work expands, consider collaborating with skilled professionals, editors, designers, illustrators, researchers, narrators, video producers, web developers, legal advisors, marketing specialists, community managers. Each person contributes specialized expertise that strengthen the whole. Leadership often means empowering others to help bring your vision to life. Stage 8. Build systems that can scale. Successful entrepreneurs gradually replace chaos with systems. Develop organized workshops. Develop organized workflows, document publishing processes, maintain research re- maintain research archives, track track project timelines, organize reader feedback, create content calendars, develop templates, build repeatable processes, systems free your creativity, systems free your creative systems free your creativity by reducing unnecessary complexity. Stage 9. Measure success differently. Many creators become discouraged because they focus exclusively on sales. Sales matter, but they are not the only measures of progress. Also consider readers helped, problems solved, ideas developed, skills improved, books completed, communities built, educational partnerships formed, international readers reached. Long-term influence often grows quietly before becoming well recognized. Remain faithful to the process. Stage 10. Leave an intellectual inheritance. Financial inheritance benefits families. Intellectual inheritance benefits civilization. Imagine future generations discovering your work, learning from your research, expanding your frameworks, building upon your ideas. Knowledge multiplies when it is preserved and shared responsibly. This is one of the greatest gifts an author can leave, and these are the 10 commandments of an entrepreneurship. Remember these principles throughout the journey. Create an original value before seeking financial reward. Treat every book as intellectual property, not merely a product. Build systems instead of depending on motivation alone. Serve readers with integrity and excellence. Continue learning throughout your life. Protect your intellectual property wisely. Think globally while serving individuals personally. Build relationships before pursuing transactions. Focus on long-term contribution rather than short-term recognition. Never stop creating. These principles form the foundation of sustainable entrepreneurship. The final reflection. Imagine yourself 30 years from today. Behind you stand a remarkable body of work. Behind you stands a remarkable body of work. A respected library, thousands, perhaps millions of readers, educational institutions using your ideas, entrepreneurs applying your frameworks, students learning from your books, researchers, researchers expanding your theories, families discussing your insights, communities strengthened because you chose to write. This future is not generated, but it becomes increasingly sorry. This future is not guaranteed, but it becomes increasingly possible through disciplined effort, continuous learning, and commitment to creating genuine value. The empire begins with one decision. History remembers individuals who transformed ideas into lasting contributions, not because they possessed extraordinary luck, but, but because they consistently acted upon meaningful ideas. Your first book will not be perfect, neither will your second, nor your third. Perfection is not the objective. Progress is. Every page teaches, every project improves your craft, every reader teaches you something new. Every book strengthens your intellectual foundation. Final words. Never underestimate the power of a single idea. Every, every innovation and invention began as an idea. Every university began as an idea. Every great company began as an idea. Every civilization has advanced because someone cared enough to preserve knowledge for those who will come after. Today, that is responsibility belongs to you. Do not measure your success only by the royalties you receive. Measure it by the lives you improve, the minds you educate, the business you inspire, the innovations you encourage, the wisdom you preserve, the opportunities you create, and the legacy you leave. Remember this final truth. Authors write books, entrepreneurs build intellectual property, Visionary entrepreneurs build ecosystems. But history remembers those who transform knowledge into a lasting legacy that continues creating value long after they are gone. Your pen is more powerful than you realize. Your ideas are more valuable than you imagine. Your future library become one of the greatest investments you ever make. So begin today. So begin today. Write, write courageously. Learn relentlessly. Think strategically. Serve generously. Build patiently. And never forget. Every intellectual property empire begins with one sentence and the courage to write the next one. Thank you for joining this video. May your ideas become assets. May your ideas become assets. Your assets become an empire, and your empire become a legacy that enriches generations to come. Please be fully engaged with my videos. Comment, share, like, subscribe. Be fully engaged with my videos. Comment, share, like, subscribe, because this will be highly appreciated. This will be highly appreciated from our side. If you want to know more about this book, if you want to get more information about this topic, then click the links in the video description below. Thank you in advance. Thank you for watching. If this video inspired you, share it with with another writer. Sorry. Thank you for watching. If this video inspired you, share it with another writer, entrepreneur, educator, or creator. Subscribe for more in-depth content on entrepreneurship, intellectual property, wealth creation, and building a legacy through knowledge. Until next time, keep writing, keep learning, keep building your empire, one idea at a time. Thank you in advance. Thank you for now. Bye bye.